All right, who here is ready for a funny lady? Yeah. All right, coming up next is the funny and the feisty red-headed beauty, Brynn Moody. Yeah. What up, low spirits? How are you guys fucking doing? Yeah, are you doing good? Fuck, last time I was here, there was like a fist fight in the back of the bar. And it was during my set, though, so I was like, damn, I didn't even get to see it. Like, I was depressed. I'm one of those people that's like, when I go see hockey, I'm like, blood on the ice. Like, a little fucked up. But, oh, fuck. Yeah, so I'm Brynn Moody. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. I work with kids, which I probably shouldn't. I realized it partially today when one of them was like, will you help me with my homework? And he laid it out in front of me, and it was a sheet that said adjectives. And it was like, James is a blank bowler. And I was like, shitty. James is a shitty bowler. And he was like, that's kind of bad. And I was like, no, that's great. That really describes his bowling. It does. James is a really shitty bowler. Also, okay, like, the kids at one point, to me, they were like, we really want to have a snowball fight, but it's, like, not allowed, because they're like, kids put ice and rocks in the snowballs, and I'm like, just as we did when we were kids. But they were like, so they don't let us do it. So I was like, all right, I'll try and figure out, like, a way to do it safely or whatever the fuck. And my boss was like, I have you covered. So I came to work one day, and she was like, here you go. And she gave me, like, cornstarch and shaving cream. And she was like, you mix it together, and then it's, like, supposed to be, like, you can form it into snowballs and throw it at each other. But really, it just looks like cum. So I was standing there staring at this huge bucket of cum with, like, 8 other, like, 10-year-olds, 10 to 11-year-olds, and they were like, so are we going to do this? And I was like, fuck it, why not? So I spent the next 10 minutes, like, Spider-Manning 5th graders. And I was like, one day I'm going to get, fucking, I'm going to forget everything. I'm going to have dementia, and I'm going to tell that to one of my grandchildren, and I'll be like, and I Spider-Maned all of those 5th graders right in the face. And they'll be like, Grandma did some shit. They'll be like, she saw some shit too, damn. Oh, God. No, so since I work, though, with kids, we have to do, like, all this training. Like, they do background checks, which sketched me the fuck out. But they make you do, like, CPR training and stuff, and then they give you, like, a little badge for it, like it's something to be proud of. When really CPR training now, really all it is going, like, somebody's, like, falls over and you're like, quick, call 911. And that's about it. It's being able to stop and say, get somebody who actually knows how to fix this, because I didn't go to school. It's like, get somebody who's smarter than me to fix this. And then you do staying alive on their chest, futilely, for about a half hour. It's a good way to do it. Fuck. I tell you one other thing. I was talking with my parents recently, and they're like, do you remember when you were a kid and you were, like, really affectionate? And they said it in that way. They were like, affectionate? And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, you were a hugger. And I was like, okay. And they were like, you liked to hug random men. And I was like, all right. And I was like, I do remember a couple of these, one of which time I jumped into a guy's lap because I thought he was Ace Ventura. Unfortunately, he was not. But as my mom told me, like, 2 seconds later, she was like, what the fuck are you doing? But my mom talked to me about it, and she was like, you used to do that all the time. She was like, you were this tiny little, like, white girl with, like, blonde curls, and she was like, and one time you ran up and, like, wrapped your arms around this huge black guy, and he looked down and was like, whoa! And my parents were like, I am so sorry, and he was like, I didn't touch her. And I was like, that's kind of a good way to describe me, though. I was like, unintentionally making black men fear, like, innocent jail time since 1991. I was like, it could be my slogan. I'd be like, Brynn Moody, always making people fear the jail. I was like, great. Oh, fuck. So it's almost Friday 13th, though. It's going to be Friday the 13th, right before Valentine's Day, which I'm excited for, because there's really nothing I do on it besides watch Friday the 13th and get drunk. But that's what I do almost every night, so. But who has seen Friday the 13th? If you haven't, you're a bitch, and I'm going to ruin it for you. Okay? Anyways, so the killer in the first movie isn't Jason Voorhees. Like, he's still, like, in the bottom of the lake. The first killer in the first movie is his mom. But so I watched it recently for, like, the first time ever, like, without, like, a large amount of alcohol in my system. And instead of focusing on all the tits and gore, all I could focus on was how this bitch's sweater stays so white through the entire fucking movie. Like, white as a fresh fallen snow. And I was like, you have killed upwards of 15 teenagers. How did you like not even get like a little bit of a splatter? And all I could think was that Tide would make a bitch load of money if they advertised with the original movie. Just showing like 2 teenagers having sex and Jason Voorhees' mom in the bushes with a Tide pen just... She'd be like, oh, thank God he's a virgin, I have time. I think they'd make lots. Oh, fuck. On Valentine's Day, what my tradition has been for the last couple years is I stay home and I order in food and then I watch either horror movies or like just like the shittiest movies I can find. And so last year I watched a movie called The Gates. Does anybody remember The Gates from like the 80s? Yeah, with Steven Dorff with his bowl cut. He looks like Kevin Bacca a little bit. No, but so he has a bowl cut in it, and it's this whole movie about like this kid in the 80s, and there's the gates to hell in his backyard. And his little fucking ginger friend comes over and opens the gates to hell. So I was like, thank you, ginger kid. I was like, we have enough problems already. I was like, thank you for fucking opening the gates to hell too. But so they open the gates to hell, and there are like demons like attacking the front of the house. So they're running away from them with like the older sister, and she's supposed to be all hot and shit. And she was like, oh my God, what do we do? And the ginger sidles up to her and whispers, back door. And for a split second, I was like, anal will not help this situation. I was like, well, maybe it will. Fuck. I was like, try it. When I realized that I was the one that was fucked up in that situation, not the movie, and I was like, nah, I'm still alone on Valentine's Day. It's not like anybody else found out. Shit. Oh, God. But whenever, like, Valentine's Day comes around, like, for, like, women in the bar or guys in the bar, whenever you've done this, you probably have. Do you, like, girls over here, do you remember, like, when you get hit on in a certain creepy way and you just remember that one for like all eternity because it was so fucking weird? Do you remember it? Yeah? So I've had a couple of those with like the same guy. And I'm like, you're just adding to my book. Like I just have like lists of things that he said. And the most recent one, yeah, exactly. Just like pull it out of my large file book and open it. No, so he came up to me most recently and he was like, Brynn, I have a stab wound in my stomach that you could crawl into like a little pocket. You'd be like a baby kangaroo. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. Let's not. I was like, Hep C doesn't sound nice today. No, the first one he gave me, though, was he came up and he was like, Brynn, if you would ever like to cuddle, just let me know. And I was like, okay, thanks. And he was like, if you want to do anything else, it's negotiable. And I was like, it's negotiable? I was like you're gonna have a fucking lawyer there? Like, I know you said S&M was off the table, but we were wondering if we could come to like, you know, like a consensus with the sex swing. Yeah, like, yeah, an agreement, like, you know, like just like a little bit of razor blades, just not too much. Shit. Oh, finally. Who sexts here? Sexting. Nobody's gonna admit it, but you all do it. I can tell. Some of you are like, shit, yeah, no, I'm gonna look down at my beer. Shit, I've never done that. Yeah. So I'm kind of bad at it, but mostly just because I'm kind of snarky. And instead of being like, yeah, I'll send you a picture of my tits, I just like to be like snarky about it. So I was texting this guy though, and he texted me and he was like, I want to see a picture of your tits. And so I didn't send anything back because I was like, nah. And so he sent another text and was like, send me a pic of those bad boys. So I sent him a picture of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And he didn't respond. And I was like, shit, bitch, you're not seeing him now. I'm like, damn it. I was so mad. But it was like, honestly, this is the guy that told me that Futurama was too smart for him. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I dodged a bullet on that. Dodged a fucking bullet. Yeah, I did. Oh, God. In the spirit of the season, though, I will end with this, my favorite science fact ever from 7th grade. It's probably the only thing I remember from 7th grade, but here it is. Pollen is plant sperm. Do you guys remember that? Yes. So that's my favorite fact of all because, like, whenever I see somebody really smelling a flower, I'm like, you're getting it all up in there, bitch. Like, you're just taking it into your sinuses. Yeah, she says, like, all up in there. And so I was thinking about it the other day, though, and I was like, that means that if pollen is plant sperm, every single one of us in this room have taken a load in the eye. And I think that's wonderful. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. try not to take a load in the eye. I'm Brynn Moody, thank you.